To stretch or not to stretch? That is the question. Now, personally, when it is a difference between doing something or not doing something, and potentially getting benefits from doing the thing, but not being any different without it, usually I'm going to do the thing. In this case, we're talking about stretching. I stretch after my exercise sessions. I have my clients stretch after exercise sessions, whether it's with me or at home after they're all done. But I tend to err on the side of let's do the stretching. Now, I do have some conflicting things about the idea of stretching and what it can actually provide to us, but I think I need to give you a little bit of context for this before I explain to you my why between stretching more than anything else. Because here's the thing, I've been in the fitness industry for well over 12 years. I don't know the exact date, it might be 13 at this point. It's all getting a little bit blurry. But I have seen things change time and again when it comes to the way we cue certain exercises, the way we cue core engagement. Even this conversation about stretching, I've seen the ebbs and flows of yes, no, for many, many years now. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the right answer is. I'm not a scientist. I don't have proof about whether stretching is good or not, but I do have some stuff based on fact and science that does lead me to believe that stretching is the way to go. So here's the thing. When we are exercising, we are putting our body under stress. And your first response might be, oh, really? I don't want to be stressed. I don't want to be stressed. And I totally get that. Nobody wants to be stressed, right? But there is a difference here. So we've got de-stress, which is the bad stress. That's probably something you're relatively familiar with. But there's also a type of stress called eustress. Okay? Eustress is the opposite of de-stress. So typically with eustress, it is considered good stress. It is stress that is infrequent. It's over relatively quickly. It's short-lived. It typically leads us to a positive life experience. It inspires us to action. It also leaves us better than we were before. It might be uncomfortable during, but then afterwards it feels really good. And exercise does fall within this category. Now, if you are not a lover of exercise, you might be thinking to yourself, no way. I don't see anything about exercise as being good stress. I hope because you're watching this today that there's something about exercise that makes you want to partake in exercise. Essentially, exercise falls into this eustress category. And if you don't relate with exercise, let's put it into context of like a roller coaster. You're waiting in line. You're nervous. You're about to get on the roller coaster. You're getting more nervous. You're starting to stress out a little bit. You know it's going to be fun. But in the meantime, you're kind of scared about it a little bit. So you're on it, you're going up, you're still nervous, you drop down the other side. Maybe you're nervous, but maybe it's starting to feel really exhilarating, really fun. And then before you know it, the roller coaster's over. You spent more time waiting in line than you did on the actual roller coaster. And again, maybe this isn't a great example if you don't love roller coasters, but hopefully between those two things, you can kind of see where I'm going. Now, just like all stress in our life, it is important to down-regulate that stress response. It's known as the sympathetic nervous system. That's what's kicking in. That is what is responsible for our fight or flight, and then later on, a freeze potentially, once we're kind of over the fight or flight. It is a situation where we are trying to take in as much oxygen as humanly possible to either run for our lives or to fight back. We're trying to get as much oxygen in to create energy. But then if we don't have the opportunity to down-regulate that stress response, we might still end up being in that stress response after the event is over. In this case, exercise. So what do? We stretch. We slow things down. We hold the stretches, usually for, anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds. The movements are slower. They're typically not super challenging. And we're allowing ourselves this opportunity to come back to kind of just this neutral state at the very least. And even if we look at this in context of a yoga class, even the stretches that we do on yoga classes, especially if we're trying to get better at something, we're trying to push past our comfort zone. And when we're trying to push past our comfort zone, we are creating, again, stress on the body. Now, what do we do at the end of a yoga class? We meditate. We do some gentler stretches to start the process of calming down, and then we end with a meditation. So in both of these things, I view it more as having that opportunity to, again, bring you down from that stress response. And it does make me pause and think about some of you who may have gone to a yoga class or a fitness class, and maybe there wasn't ample time to stretch at the end, because I feel like if something has to go, it's going to be the stretch at the end. And then what happens? You fight or you flight. You either fight your way through it because you know it's going to be good for you, or you go, exercise isn't for me, this class isn't for me, I'm done. So to stretch or not to stretch, I think the debate is still out there. How important is it to re-lengthen the muscles after we've spent time contracting them? But at the end of the day, if you get nothing else out of stretching, try not to skip it, because it's going to give you that opportunity to de-stress. Not distress, but de-stress after you are all done your workout. And hopefully that feeling of feeling good afterwards will inspire you to come back to the class without so much resistance, to get back to the barbell without so much resistance. What is your opinion on stretching? What is your stance on stretching? In the meantime, thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to connecting with you again very soon.